Mr. 845 social media and events.
Hey everybody, it's Mr. 845 here, and we're interviewing another small business owner. This is Stephanie. Stephanie, tell us who you are and what do you do?
Well, thank you, Ramon. I am Stephanie Morrow with College Planning 101, and I've been in business for 14 years. And, it's wonderful to help families all across the United States, actually. We are a full service college planning firm. We do career assessment, customized college list. We have college financial advisors that work with our families to ensure they're making good decisions on the colleges, because college is expensive today, as we know.
All right. Yeah. So, the most important thing that I like to always get out of the way is if people wanted to sign up with you or contact you or work with you, what would be the best methods and how exactly would they do that?
Well, they can text or call 914-406-0055, or they can visit my website at www.collegeplanning101.org. And there's a scheduled free consultation, which my first hour is always complimentary and never a charge.
All right. Awesome. And, being a college graduate myself, not having somebody to help me work through it, it was something that was you're kind of on the dependence of your family to make sure that they know what they're doing. And of course, with that, you never get all the help that you can get, right? With the price of college going up and stuff like that, it's always good to have somebody help you and guide you through all the different things. So if we can kind of go through the services, just making sure that we can kind of cover everything for you. So when you're talking about college planning, are we talking what?
So as I said, we're full service. We start with career assessment. We want the student to see what's out there for themselves, giving them a peripheral vision on what might be right for them. They might know what they want to do. We can get confirmation, or we can broaden their horizons. And then from there, we customize their college list based on the parents' concerns and the students' goals and wishes. This way, that college list is really designed for the student, because every college admits by GPA. So if we have a student who's at a 90 average, colleges that are looking for a 95 or 100 average, which there are a lot out there, they might not be successful at either getting in or successful at that college. So we really focus on academic fit, and then we focus on financial fit. When we work with the families on their financials, we help them understand what they're expected to pay for college, how that builds into each college on the student's list. And then we'll remove colleges that are just out of the budget, or at least open their eyes to the fact that it's really expensive. And then we help students with their essays and their Common App or any of their college applications. Our meetings with our academic advisors with our students are reasonably unlimited, as well as with the financial advisor. We have strategic appointments throughout the process. When someone hires us, we take them right through to high school graduation. And so the summer before Christmas, the summer before they go back to senior year, we are working with them on their applications and their essays. Most of our students have their Common App essay and their Common App complete before they go back to high school for senior year. We want to get ahead of that. All of our students apply by either the 10/15 or November 1st early action dates. And early action is non-binding, but it gets us in early. It gets us in ahead of the competition. And then we file all the financial aid forms for our families, the FAFSA, the CSS profile, and any institutional financial aid forms required by the college. And then my favorite part of the process is reviewing their awards that they get in March and April of senior year. And we review those awards to ensure that they're getting the maximum monies that they qualify for. And we call that our appeals process. And sometimes we get nothing, and sometimes we get $1,000 more, and sometimes we get $10,000 more. Depends on the situation. But that is the piece de la resistance, because we're getting the client their feedback. All of our clients really do get their feedback, sometimes by 10. If you visit the Facebook page for College Planning 101, you will see that I'm posting the awards for our students and celebrating their successes. It is so much fun to really share that information with families, because we truly are helping Americans afford college. When I started in 2009, the most expensive college was $60,000. In fact, it was 59,000. And we were thinking to ourselves, my God, $59,000. When is it going to be 80? Well, that's today, 14 years later. We are well over $80,000 for the cost of college for some of the universities in America. And of
Mhm.
course, the SUNYs are our most cost-effective option
Yeah.
for New York or any state school in, in a state. So we are full service. We help with everything. We have various packages. You can buy the whole shebang, or you can buy pieces of it as you need. Like this time of year, I get a lot of families who just hire me for the financial aspect because they've already got their, seniors that are hiring me just for the financial aspect, where juniors and sophomores and freshmen hire me throughout the year.
Okay. Now, so you would probably say, what is the best time to get in contact with you, right? Because I heard you say freshmen and juniors and sophomores, right? But I know that in the application process, usually in junior years, when they really start making their decisions to get ready, and this is all high school guys, so that way you kind of know you can't be in college already. So you want to catch them like when? You want to do freshman, junior, sophomore? When is the best time?
So it depends on the family. I have freshmen because the families are, 3 and 4 kids deep and they own their own businesses and they just need to start the process early. Plus they lock in my fee. So they're like, oh, that's smart. Because
Yeah.
literally you hire me in 9th grade, it's the same price as if you hire me in junior year. I have a flat fee. So, it'll take you right through to high school graduation. So the earlier, the better for any family. But for me, the best time that I think is good for the student mentally, and of course, just in general, is the end of sophomore year. And then we utilize the summer between sophomore and junior year to do the career assessment, customize their college list, show them how to work with our proprietary software that makes the whole research college process easy, organized, and at their fingertips. So then you can go into junior year and into senior year with a plan of action. When are you taking your SATs or ACTs? You're based on this, you're going to do it this month and then that month, or this and that. So each student has an individual plan with their academic advisor to ensure that they're going through the process in a less stressful way. But I've had families hire me October of senior year and we get them wrapped up just as well. So it's just, all those meetings get condensed into 3 months as opposed to over years.
Yeah.
My favorite time is the end of 10th grade.
Okay. And that's important for everybody to kind of know because I already have had 2 daughters go through college. The second one's about to graduate, but I have 2 more to go. So it's important for people to see. Okay, do you also take into account like the academics and then also the athletic part, right?
Oh
Or
yeah,
the extracurriculars, right?
absolutely. Yep.
Is there anything in particular that you would say that you're seeing that colleges are looking for on the extracurricular portion that kind of enhances their standing with the colleges, or it depends on which college?
Well, yes, it's a standard answer. It does depend on which college. Every college is as unique as, an individual themselves. So, what are the colleges looking for? Well, I always revert back to the student. I'm always an advocate for the family and the student, not for the college. So when I'm working with a student and advising them and empowering them to do something more than, go to school and come home, I want them to find things that are meaningful to them. I'd rather them do one thing that's truly meaningful and robust to them than to scatter this, that, the other thing on their college application
Mhm.
that really has no meaning. And I don't like the students to be stressed. Our student body today has full of stress and anxiety. The pressure on our children is just insane.
Mhm.
So my
And
job,
and the parents.
yeah, and absolutely, absolutely. And sometimes the parents are causing that problem.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes, and I always reel the parent in. And I'm like, okay, let's take this one step at a time. And then they pull themselves back. They're like, all right, I'm going a little crazy here. But we want the best for our children. So we want to push them and we want them to be top this. But at the end of the day, the student is a human being that can be at times fragile. So when I want them to put things on their calendar and do things, I want them to be true to themselves. For example, I had one student and literally he went to school and came home. And I said, well, we can't just put video game playing on your college app. It's just not enough. Volunteer if you love animals, if you love the elderly, even if you help a neighbor, rake their yard, that's volunteering. So this one student had nothing. And I said, well, what do you like to do? And he goes, I like to fish. And I said, well, then why don't you create a fishing club? Do something. And he did, and he loved it. And they, fished different rivers and areas in, Dutchess County. And it was really empowering for him. So it depends on what the college is looking for, but I always say, you be true to yourself as a student. And if the college likes what they see, then that's a good marriage. They're looking for who you are. You're not going to try to put yourself into them. You want them to find, to marry you, not because kids are pressured and we have to help them with that. It's just, I see it in my practice every day, the pressure on these kids. And every time I talk to a student, I'm always trying to lessen their pressure and give them perspective and, take this process one step at a time. They say, don't look at the whole staircase, look at the first step. And that's what we have to do here.
Yeah, I mean, so I haven't seen college in quite some time, but the pressure that it was to in some families to get high grades and continue and you're kind of like looking at that, and then extracurriculars were kind of like secondary, but nowadays you see where some extracurriculars actually enhance the B student, if you will, or the B minus student, or the C plus student, and gets them to the next round, if you will. When giving advice to families, is it something that they would want to do with you in person? Like, I know you were saying that you also work countrywide. So is this something where, like, if they're in Dutchess County, do they meet with you? And if they do, then where would that be?
So all my meetings now are via Zoom. I did have office space in Dutchess and I was never there. People were like, can we do this via Zoom? We're not going to make it there on time. And, COVID, I was Zooming before COVID because if my family's got if it was a bad storm or weather, I wouldn't want the kids to drive to me. So we would just move it to Zoom. And then when COVID hit, everything really went to Zoom for a while. And then I went back to my office and just people weren't they just weren't using my office space. I was just throwing away money. So I have only lost one prospect on the fact that I only do Zoom now. And I'm like, well, 1 out of 100, I can't please everybody, but it's actually become very convenient because then the kids aren't getting in their car and driving. It's safer. They're saving time. Even if you're only 20 minutes away from me, that's a 40-minute round trip that you just added to your day. So it's become very efficient. And, although I will say that I do miss the in-person. Last night I was at John Jay High School and I got to do my presentation in person, and it feels so good to stand up in front of people. But for the meetings, we are via Zoom.
Alum, just saying.
Oh, there you are. That's great.
Yeah.
I've been doing my presentations at John Jay High School for over a decade. They've been so wonderful and supportive, and my presentations are free. So why not? And I have so much knowledge to share.
Well, I'm in the Ketchum district now, so let's Ketchum. Let's
Well,
go.
I had Ketchum people there last night. Yeah, because Ketchum's notified.
Okay.
So you should have been there.
Well, I'm not there right now anymore. I got one that's about to hit high school next year, so we got time.
A little bit.
Yeah, and then I got two. Remember, I got two left. So
well, I hope I have the opportunity to help you.
Oh, trust me, we'll be talking because that stresses me out just thinking about it. So.
Well, you know what I'm really proud of? That in the 14 years I've been doing this, I can honestly say that my families get their feedback sometimes times 10. And that's just year one merit scholarships. If they get that 4 times and, if they get that all 4 years, I mean, the return on the investment with College Planning 101 is tenfold, if not 100-fold, besides the fact of reducing people's stress and making sure that the students are doing what they're supposed to do. We have a portal for our families. You can have it on your phone as an app. a desktop, and in that portal is everything college planning for that student. And it's really organized, and we text the kids when deadlines are coming near, and the parents, which has been so instrumental. So, you know, and if you look, I just got another Google review yesterday. So I'm really proud of my Google reviews, except for the
Good Google reviews.
one that is almost a lie, but whatever. I don't know how to, I've already.
And it happens. But you
Yeah.
know, the biggest thing is that, you know, especially when you're in online presence, you want to make sure that you govern that, right? So you know, it's something that, especially for a virtual business in the area, it's important to keep those Google reviews up. So if you're a client and you're listening to this video and you haven't left her a Google review, what are you waiting for? It's a free option to do. It takes a couple of minutes that out of your day, and it helps the business dramatically.
Absolutely. I helped somebody yesterday, and she said, "What do I owe you?" And I literally just helped her for like an hour. And I said, "You owe me a Google review." And her son did one, and she hasn't done one yet. So I'm going to text her and be like, "Where's the Google review? Otherwise, I'm going to bill you."
No, and you know, it's great to see that you're helping a lot of the students nowadays. It's been extremely stressful with the pandemic, and you know, everything that's been going on, and things transforming, and you know, like, hey, this went from in person now to virtual. Now when talking about college, I know that during the pandemic they kind of just like let it slide, but how are the pressure on a kids getting their SATs now compared to during the pandemic? I know during the pandemic they were kind of like, just it's a wash now, but are they coming back, and are they really bringing it back and saying, hey, the SATs are weighed about this much compared to they were during the pandemic?
Right, that's an excellent question. So a lot of colleges are staying test optional.
Okay.
So I think test optional is very unfair, because if I have a student who's got that 95 average and can't break the 11 or 1200 SAT score, and they want to go in test optional, they're going to get in, and they're possibly even going to get merit money with that 95 average. But for the same student who could do good on the SATs, right? And will submit, that student will get more merit money. Now, in one way, that's fair. You did an extra piece, you get more merit money. But test optional is like, we're going to look at it if you send it, but if you don't send it, we're not going to look at it. Where test blind means we're not looking at it. We're going to judge you based on your GPA, which is who you are every day. And make no mistake, every college admits by GPA, and the SATs or ACTs don't get you in as much as it will get you additional merit money, and it can give you a competitive edge. So my students always do the tests and do the best they can. Then our software will show them which colleges they can submit to and which colleges they should go test optional to. So it's very frustrating to me that test optional, I think either they should take it or they shouldn't. Black and white, because that optional piece just skews the whole admissions process, and it's unfair. And then, you know, you have the students who might have like an 85 average and get a 1400 on the SAT. That's not going to get you in. The college is looking at that saying that doesn't correlate. You can do good on a test, but what you do every day is, you know, at that 85 level.
Just sounds like you're lazy.
Exactly. Or they got really lucky on the SAT test.
Yeah, you know, just do all the A, B, C, D, you go all the way down and make a nice little V or something.
Right, yeah. So I just think it's unfair, and I just always say to my students, do the best you can. And my students, we have the ability to figure it out. For those who don't work with us, I would say, please at least try. And then you can call the college and say, listen, this is my final essay. Should I submit or should I not submit? And you can, you know, they'll give you an understanding.
Now, when it comes to like the extracurriculars, like just to kind of go back into that, how much weight on their, so they have great grades, right? But how much weight does an extracurricular really give them? I know sports, usually you can get scholarships for sports, of course, but are there any other things that they could kind of look at, like dance or gymnastics or band, or, you know, you said something about a club. Are those things actually weighted to the point where it really does give kids a chance to get some scholarship money or grant money, if you will?
So I had a student get, I think it was $4,000, either a semester or a year. I forget. It was either 8 or 4,000, but he got money to be in their marching band because he was in the marching band in high school. So there's that. You can get, you know, a little bit of money for dance, but not a lot. You know, it's the soccer, baseball, football, basketball, lacrosse. Those are like the big money sports. But I had a student that had over 500 hours of volunteer time, and she got a plaque for it at high school, so it was confirmed, and Potsdam gave her $1,000 scholarship for that. So, you know, it just depends on what the college offers, but I always say you want to have, if you're into sports, obviously your sports. If you're into music or if you're into art, whatever your main shtick is, that's, you know, obviously goes into your activities. And then volunteering is so important. Find something that's meaningful to you, and, you know, try to do at least 20 to 50 hours.
Okay.
And then working is also good. Colleges like to see that students can go get a job and stay in a job in 6 months to 6 or 12 months. And I always say no more than 5 to 10 hours during the school year, or per week during the school year, because obviously academics are first. But you know, extracurriculars can enhance a student's application. And I just found a list of summer programs that I'm going to be sharing with my families. I might even share it on Facebook if I can figure out how to conform it or
Okay.
whatever. But it's like, you know, all these summer programs for research, and some of them are free or low cost. And those summer college programs are really great because it's good for the student. Are you into science? Well, let me go do this summer science program at blah, blah, blah college and see how really into science I am. You're going to college level classes. You're staying in a dorm room. It's a wonderful experience. So, and I literally just found it last week, and I can't wait to share it with my families and really with the world, because they're going to be competitive to get into, obviously. But, you know, certainly those types of things are excellent for the student and enhance their common app, you know, their activities.
Okay.
So, but I would say be true to yourselves.
And then the last question I want to ask you, just so that kind of people could kind of get an idea, you know, when it comes to jobs and job creation or jobs after college, right? A lot of kids are always wondering, what the hell am I going to do with myself for the rest of my life? You know, going into college, sometimes you're undeclared, and then you kind of figure it out, if you will. But sometimes people say that that's not necessarily the best option for you. Is there a way, or is there a career path that you've seen that a lot of kids have seen success in? Or is it just kind of like a spectrum, if you will, of different, depending on their personality, of course, or, you know, after college? Like, do you follow up with the children after, like, hey, you know, I see that you graduated. What type of career did you end up getting after college, or are you waiting, and stuff like that?
Right. So that's where I have failed in my business, because I have not.
Okay.
But what I'm doing is, like, I refile a lot of my second, like they'll hire me for their second child, and I'll find out about them that way. I did send out a survey one time, but very few answered it. But I do know that, you know, 20% of who I've spoken to, or 30%, they're all on their path. Some of them have changed their minds midway, but they've all gotten jobs. And let me tell you why. Because when they sit with me and my advisors, we begin with the end in mind, and the end is getting a job. So you can go in undecided, but at the end of 4 years, you're going to know that you've done internships and or co-ops, because Stephanie and her team said, very important, don't even go to a college that doesn't have a good internship and or co-op program.
Okay.
So we're arming our students with a couple of things. One, it's at least 120 credits to get a bachelor's degree. Sometimes it's 128, right? But it's at least 120. So when you're meeting with your academic advisor and they're developing your next semester's, you know, course load, you say, is this going to help me graduate in 4 years? So we're keeping our kids on track to graduate in 4 years.
Okay.
So that's important.
And the last thing I wanted, and I know that the other one I said was the last thing, but this is really now, if they're in high school and they take advanced courses, do any of those help them when they get to the college level? Like, are like AP grades like equated, or high grade, or like advanced classes, if you will? I'm not sure how that differentiates anymore, but, you know, what does that look like?
So a college would rather, well, first of all, we call it rigor of coursework. That's what the college course calls it. You know, do they have rigor of coursework? Are they just, for New York and California, we have the Regents courses, but are they in their basic level courses? or are they challenging themselves? So a college would rather see a slightly lower grade in APs and college courses than a higher grade in basic level courses.
Remedial classes. I
And
don't know if you
right,
call
and so
them
the
anymore
other
like
thing
that.
is that the student is preparing themselves. What happens is if a student is just in basic level courses and goes to college, it's like culture shock. They're like, wait, I don't know how to do this, or I've never done this before. But
Mhm.
when they're doing the APs and the college courses, they are better prepared for college because they've had that experience with a college level course. So unweighted and weighted, they actually unweight all the averages because high schools weight at different levels. John Jay does it different than Arlington and all across the nation. You remember, they're getting applications across the nation. So they can't use a weighted average. They always unweight the averages, but they give credit for the APs and honors and college courses that the student has taken in high school.
Okay, good. I mean, if they want more information, I just want to go through it one more time. Because I know there's only a short period of time of amount of interview space, and I really want them to get the in-depth feel and talking with you. What's the best way in contacting you if they had any questions or if they needed anything?
They can reach me at 914-406-0055. And remember, my first hour is complimentary. There is no fee for that. Gets a chance to get to know you. I can explain how we can help, and of course, go over my packages and pricing.
All right, awesome. And then, I just wanted to kind of bring it together again. Stephanie, thank you very much for allowing me to interview you. The biggest benefit of these videos is to really help find out more about business owners and where they are, how they can help you, whether that be college planning for your children. College, is something that has been stressed in the work world for quite some time now. So not having a college degree can set you back in your career path. So it is something that it's important to look for. I can speak to it. Without my degree, I wouldn't be where I'm at today on my day job. So, those are the types of things you would get halted, of course. And that's something that, a lot of the people in my family have seen based on that. By watching these videos, by giving us feedback, liking them, sharing them, the least you could do is just actually go to Stephanie's business page and give her a like and a follow. You never know, you could find out your next favorite, right? So that being said, everybody, this is Mr. 845, and we're going to be hitting the streets. Stay tuned for all the videos coming out every Wednesday at 12 noon. Check out all these business owners that are coming out here, and you never know, they could be one of those businesses that you work with next. All right, guys. That being said, this is Mr. 845, and we'll talk soon.